I have several followers now. I feel kind of important. I feel like a rock star. No, are you kidding? No. Um, okay, so we're going to factor a trinomial whose coefficient is a 1. Well, my notes are really buggered up, so we need to make some changes. I was thinking about my first hour this morning. They're doing standard form graphing. So I wrote the formula for standard form graphing. We're not graphing, so it's a different thing. So bear with me, and let's make a change here, okay? We need to change this very first thing. This needs to be ax squared plus bx plus c. Yeah, I really messed it up. Okay, so change it to that. Ax squared plus bx plus c. It does follow a lot of the same rules as the ABC graphing. There can be no fractions or decimals in the A, the B, or the C. Those are our normal numbers. A and B are coefficients. C is a constant. Okay? Now, do remember what standard form is. Whatever number is in front of the x squared would be your A value. Whatever number is where the B is would be your B value. And whatever number is here underneath the C is your C value. I taught this, I prefer to teach this differently than what I'm going to teach you today. I am not supposed to teach you the way I want to teach you because the teachers across the street in geometry and algebra 2 don't teach it the way I do. And so when you get over there, they can't explain it to you to understand it the way I do. So we've all been told that we need to try to teach it the same way.
Why can't they?
That's what I'm thinking too, because my way is way easier and way faster. But I'm going to do what they say. If you are someone who is absolutely struggling at this, you come see me on your own time, and I will show you the other way. Okay? I want you to do it well, but I'm going to try very hard to teach it the way everybody does. So next year you won't fall into a gap and not know what to do and have to learn a whole new way again. So I understand why they're doing it. I'm just disappointed that we can't do it a multiple ways because everybody learns differently. So you'll be okay for today, I'm sure. It's very straightforward because it all starts out the same. Not yet. So if I were to ask you about example 1, where it says factor x squared plus 5x plus 6, I'm going to rewrite that problem up here so I can work it. And we are going to factor this. And the way you factor these things is you're going to multiply your A value times your C value. So if I was looking at this and I said, okay, A times C, what would I come up with? A 6, because we assume this to be a 1, right? So my A times C multiplies to make a 6. Now I am begging you to make this table. This is one of the best things to do when you're factoring, and there is no shortcut. My way and their way is exactly the same up to a certain point, okay? So everything today is very similar to the way I would teach you if I were doing it my way. So A times C creates the 6. You now have to find factors of the 6 that will add to make the B value, which was a positive 5. So we need something to add to make a 5. So we're going to list everything we can think of that multiplies to make a 6. Give me one example. Okay, I'm going to encourage you to start with a 1. 1 times 6. 2 times 3. And if you reverse it to 3 times 2 and 6 times 1, you don't have to write the duplicates, okay? One of these two, when I add their factors together, has got to give me a 5. Does 1 plus 6 make a 5? Does 2 plus 3 make a 5? Yes. So 2 plus 3 are going to be the factors that I'm going to use, a positive 2 and a positive 3. When we have a leading coefficient of 1, which is what all of your homework is going to be today, okay? All you're going to need to do is build 2 parentheses. Your variable goes in the first part, and then the factors that you found will go in the back of the parentheses. So I need a positive 2 and I need a positive 3. Order does not matter. You could have put the 3 first and you have factored this problem. If you were to FOIL this, what are you going to get? You'd get an x squared, you'd get a 3x, you'd get a 2x, and you'd get a 6. Are you going to wind up with the exact same problem that you just broke down? You should. It's very easy to check your assignments on this. Just FOIL it back together. You should get your original problem. Everyone should get a 100 because it's so easy to check. Okay? Let's try another one. Let's look at example 2 here. And everything I'm telling you is what's written in these notes. I copied these off the internet this morning because I've been so busy. And they're pretty good notes, but they're saying what I'm saying just in a whole lot of words. Okay? So look at example 2 here. I have x squared plus x take away 12. All right? So what's my first step? A times c. So I'm going to multiply those two together, and I'm going to get a negative 12. I need things that add up to make a, what's my b value on this? A 1. Positive 1. So, starting with your smallest numbers, you would have what? A 1 times a 12, a 2 times a 6, a 3 times a 4, and that's pretty much it, right? But I have, but now I have to go back and go, okay, I need a negative 12, but I need a positive 1. So who's going to have to be bigger, the negative guys or the positive guys, if it has to add to be positive? The positive guys have to be bigger. So the negative would be on the 1, the 2, the 3. Which one of these will create a positive 1? The negative 3 and 4. So I have negative 3 and positive 4 as my factors. I'm going to build my sets of parentheses. The x goes in the front of each one, and then the factors go in the back. And you factored that. How many of you are okay with this so far? Very good. Yeah, it starts out really easy. It really does. Okay. Look at example 3 now. Sometimes this happens. I can't promise you it won't happen on the worksheet tomorrow. I haven't gotten the answers for the worksheet tomorrow yet. So it might happen, but I don't think it does. Example 3. Let's factor this and see what happens. What's our rule? We do what first? A times c, so I need things to add up to be an 11, and they have to multiply to make a negative 4. Other way around, multiply to make an 11, add to make a negative 4. Sorry. So what multiplies to make an 11? 1 times 11. And is 1 and 11 going to add to make a negative 4 ever? So guess what we call this? Not no solution, but it is true. There is no solution. They call this prime. This is a prime trinomial, meaning that there's nothing other than itself that is functional there. You could divide it by itself, but that's it. Yes, sir?
So it's like going back to prime numbers.
Kind of like going back to prime numbers in a way. Sometimes there's just nothing you can do. Every once in a while, though, you could get a problem that is using prime numbers and you can still make it work. So you can't just go, oh yeah, there's an 11, it's a prime. Don't do that. Don't do that, okay? Let's try these 4 examples at the bottom, and then I'll get you your packet, okay? All right. Please make a table. There are some numbers that there's a whole bunch of multiples that you're not aware of. What do you have to write down first? A times c, which is you're going to multiply to make a 36 and add to make a negative 13. 1 times 36, 2 times 18, 3 times 12. 4 times, but you got to make sure it adds up right. So you got to start, I'm encouraging you, please start with 1 and ignore what you're looking for. Just write all the multiples that you can think of. 4 times 9 and 6 times 6. Now, I need to add to make a negative number. So that means I'm going to have some negatives, right, in my factors. But I need it to be a positive number when I multiply them together. So what's going to happen? They're going to be double negatives. So everything's double negatives here. Are there any that add up now to the negative 13? The 9 and the 4, right? The negative 9, negative 4. So negative 9, negative 4, those are my factors. Build your two sets of parentheses, put your variable in the front, and then your factors in the back. But the table will help you. Please don't take shortcuts because you're going to be stuck and you're going to get real frustrated. Okay? Try number 2. Is it 16?
Teacher-student spark interruption. There will be no outside lunch today due to the wind. There will be no outside lunch today. Thank you.
Okay. I got to add up to be a negative. So who's got to be bigger, negatives or positives? The negatives have to be the bigger number here. So you've got to put the negatives on the bigger number. What one's what? 6 and negative 8, right? So if I build my sets of parentheses, I'll have an x plus 6 and an x minus 8. And if you weren't sure, you could FOIL that back together and you'd get the original problem again. You good, Zoe? Okay, make a table. I can't stress that enough. Okay, yes ma'am. Because depends on how it's set up. Your middle term here is negative. Okay, so you know you have to have a negative, but your last term is positive. When you FOIL this, 2 negatives will create that positive. Okay, so it's very important to look at the signs. And that kind of helps you a little bit too, because if you go, okay, I got to have a negative answer in the end here, so one's got to be positive, one's got to be negative. And eventually you'll kind of catch on to that and it'll be much faster. It's new, okay? Try numbers 3 and 4, and I'll pass out your packets. And you can tell me what the answers to 3 and 4 are when I get them, okay? What did you get for the answer to number 3?
Oh, yeah, no, they're 6 minus 3 times 6 plus 6.
You got x minus 3. X minus 3 times x what? Plus 15. Let's check it. X squared, yes. Negative 3x. Positive 15x, yes. Negative 45. Good job. The table, I always just start with 1, Zoe. I just go, okay, I need things that multiply to make a negative 45 and are going to add to make a 12. 1 times 45. 2 doesn't work. 3 does. 3 times 15. 4. Yeah, you'll have to make something negative. Yes, ma'am. Yes, because if you had made the 15 negative, you would have gotten a negative 12 for the middle term.
So how do you, like, just...
You just have to, that's over here, you have to check it to make sure you're getting what's over here. I needed a positive 12, so my bigger number needed to be positive. Okay? The bigger number has to be positive if you need a positive middle number.
Wait, say that again.
The bigger of the two factors has to be positive if you need a positive middle number, because you're adding them together. Okay, and that's where you need to check it in the table and make sure it works. Derek?
Number one,
Yeah, what'd you get?
x plus 1.
X plus 1.
Yeah, x plus 5.
X plus 5 can't be plus 5. It's going to have to be two negatives, Derek. Yep. You'll have to have two negatives on that one. Okay? All right. On your assignment, okay, your assignment, you're going to start at problem 17 on this factoring packet. The first page of the factoring packet, problem number 17. 17 to 31, that's it. It's exactly the same thing as we've just spent the last 15 minutes doing, okay? Build a table. I can't stress that enough.